I've already done a video on the Titanium Citizen Promaster diver, the Fujitsubo. Not this blue one, but I did a video on the black one a while back. Good watch. I'm a fan, especially if you can get it for the price that it actually sells for and not what it technically lists for. So when my dad showed up to lunch wearing this blue one, my first thought was, cool, I know this watch. I know everything there is to know about this watch. And yes, despite the rumors, I do have human parents. But when I took a closer look at this version of the watch, I realized that this Fujitsubo had something I'd never seen before, and it made it feel like an entirely different watch. A bracelet. See, because of some bizarre inscrutable watch company logic, the original black watch does not come with a bracelet. The logic, it cannot be screwed. And usually a bracelet isn't gonna make a big difference on a watch, even to me, a person who prefers bracelets on watches, and especially at this price, well under $1,000, bracelets, they're just bad usually. But not here, not on this Citizen. This really elevates the watch, and I'm gonna say this right off the top, that if you're in the market for an affordable dive watch, and I know that you are, you should look closely at this watch because this is good. The first Promaster mechanical diver 200 meter came out about 2 years ago, and it was just this black version on a rubber strap. A cool watch with a titanium case and a sapphire crystal. No, not just titanium, but super titanium, and I'll explain later. The watch got its nickname Fujitsubo from the same watch that inspired it. Around 1977, someone lost their Citizen Challenge diver watch in or near the Pacific Ocean, and then in 1983, this barnacle-encrusted Citizen Challenge dive watch was found on an Australian beach. This is what it looked like, and it was still running. Fujitsubo means barnacle, which also happened to be my nickname in high school, and that's why this modern Citizen was given that name that inspired its birth or rebirth, I guess. Its titanium case is 41 millimeters across, 12.3 millimeters thick, and 49 millimeters long. It takes 20 millimeter straps. It uses a sapphire crystal and an aluminum bezel insert. It's rated to 200 meters, and even on the full bracelet, it only weighs about 106 grams. It uses the Citizen/Miyota 9051 movement. The price, Citizen says on its website that it's $995, and then it lists it being on sale for $796. And then another reputable seller I found had it for $695, while another one had it listed for $550. So I'm gonna say that this costs about $550. Okay, now the 41 millimeter wide case that's 49 millimeters long on my 18 centimeter wrist, that's about 7 inches, or 7 1-inch long Cirripedia. The one thing that might be a drawback for some people with this bracelet is that with these male end links, technically the watch is a little longer, but they do curve down, and so I think this will work on wrists as small as 6 inches, or 15 centimeters, or 6 1-inch long Cirripedia. And the lightness of this watch, just over 100 grams on a bracelet, it's really good. For comparison, a steel Seiko diver on a similar oyster-style bracelet is about 160 grams, 60% more. And aren't we all carrying enough weight already as it is, physically and emotionally? Yeah, I see you, friend. And then we get to what I like so much about this bracelet, besides the fact that it's really light. This clasp has an adjustment system built in, which is not something you see often on affordable watch bracelets, especially affordable watch bracelets from big brands like Citizen. Credit to the smaller brands like Notice for making adjustment systems standard on its watches. But this system it's excellent. First, and this is a big deal for me, you can lengthen the bracelet without taking the watch off. There are 2 triggers on the sides of the clasp that let the bracelet out by up to 20 millimeters. Now, if your wrist is fluctuating by 20 millimeters over a day, I'm sure you're in fine health and you have nothing to worry about, and you can trust me. I once read a Wikipedia article on medieval bloodletting, but I suspect the 20 millimeters is to accommodate wetsuits. And when you want to shorten the bracelet, you still don't need to take the watch off your wrist because the adjustment system ratchets tighter. You just kind of push it in. It's also nice that the extension doesn't look too bad either because the extension is about the same width as the clasp. And all of this is done with still a pretty thin clasp, so thin that at first I didn't know that this adjustment system existed. The irony is that on a watch this light, you almost don't need to change the length of the bracelet. Almost. This titanium isn't just light, but it's also, I like how it looks, a bit darker than normal stainless steel. And then this is made of super titanium Titanium, which is also the name of one of Marvel's least popular superheroes. Super Titanium is Citizen's trademark for their proprietary scratch-resistant titanium. It's been reported by some people that Super Titanium is rated to about 1000 hardness Vickers, about 4 times more scratch-resistant than 316L stainless steel. But I'm not convinced. I'm not going to tell you why I'm not convinced, but I'll just apologize to the owner of this watch. Sorry, Dad. The watch is powered by the Citizen/Miyota 9051 movement. Citizen says it should be accurate to about -10 to +20 seconds per day, and it has 42 hours of power reserve. And yeah, that's about what you can expect from a watch that's around $600. A mechanical watch. You can get a $50 quartz watch that's 40 times more accurate and with a power reserve that will last years, but then you'd be thinking about watches logically and not emotionally, and that's boring, and you're not boring, are you? The lume on this is awesome. It's great. I don't know why affordable dive watches tend to have such killer lume, but they seem to, and this one does not disappoint. As for the Mercedes-style hour hand, no, that's not copied from Rolex. This style of hour hand was very popular on sports watches decades ago. It was a way for the hour hand to hold its luminescent material in place. The Mercedes hand has been around for a long time on watches from dozens of brands, not just Rolex. And while we're near the dial, a small thing that I really like on this watch is the beveled sapphire crystal. You see how the edges curve down near the bezel. It adds some depth and a hint of vintageness, vintageity. Now there are a couple tactile issues I have with this watch. First, the 60-click bezel is a little soft, and I mean both the clicks and the grips around the bezel. They feel both of them should be crisper. And then the crown, it's too small, and that makes it tough to screw in, down, tough to screw. Sealing the watch case should be easier, is what I'm saying. These tactile issues were exactly the same on the black Fujitsubo that I looked at already, so these weak points are by design, it seems. And yet, once again, if you can find this watch for a price that you like, I think this thing is just a killer affordable dive watch. If you can think of a $550 titanium diver with a good adjustment system in the clasp, put it in the comments. I'm curious what other good watches I'm missing, because I know they're out there, and that's one of the things I love about affordable mechanical watches. There's just so much variety, and they're so fun and low risk, and low risk to someone for whom $600 is not a lot of money, and I admit that's a very small group of people. But if $600 is a lot of money for you, and you're looking to make a meaningful purchase on a dive watch, check this one out. My dad has good taste in watches. I taught him everything he knows.